Hey guys, welcome back to Fish Tank Diaries with Chris. In today's video, we are going to be filling the house with more fish tanks. My girlfriend's gonna kill me. No, I'm kidding. Actually though, in today's video, I'm gonna show you guys how to attach Anubias plants to anything, really. You can attach it to rocks, you can attach it to driftwood. Let's first start by cleaning the roots of the actual Anubias plant. This way we can get a good adhesion because we're gonna be using a glue to glue them to driftwood or rocks or whatever you wanna glue them to. In my personal opinion, using this Gorilla Glue gel super glue is the best way to glue Anubias to anything, just because the other options are to wrap it in string or fishing line, or else you can kind of like wedge it into the driftwood seams, or you can kind of like put the rock on top of the roots. I feel like the best option though, hands down, is to use the gel super glue. And I gotta say, the best thing to attach your Anubias plant to is the driftwood, just because the roots want to actually grow into the spores of the wood itself. A lot of people don't know this about the Anubias plant, but the roots want to grow into the spores of the wood, and the plant takes off if you allow this to happen. So literally, this is really simple. How you attach the Anubias plant to the driftwood is you take some of that super glue I was talking about, the Gorilla Glue gel super glue, you use a Q-tip, you grab a glob of it and you throw it where you want to put the plant on the driftwood, and the gel works super good because it actually has some volume to it. If you've ever used regular super glue, it just doesn't work because it's almost like it's too watery, and this gel stuff is like a godsend when it comes to adding these rhizome plants to the driftwood. And when you're adding the Anubias plant to the driftwood, make sure that you don't get any of the leaves stuck to the super glue. What you want to do is actually kind of just stick the rhizome directly to the super glue, and if some of the roots get on the super glue, that's totally fine, but literally all you're doing here is that you're just kind of securing the Anubias plant to the piece of driftwood temporarily, and then the roots with time are going to grow into the spores of that driftwood and kind of secure itself into place and literally like bond to it. It's crazy. Another common question is, can you use this super glue on wet driftwood or wet plants? And the answer is yes. What's kind of weird is this super glue actually dries faster on wet surfaces. It's almost like it reacts differently to it, and when you're wondering how long it takes to dry before you can put this stuff back into your aquarium, I would say anywhere between like 15 minutes to 20 minutes. This stuff dries really fast, and you don't really have to worry about it in your aquarium. I've done this over and over, and I really trust this process. You can also attach Anubias plants to rocks and stones, but I don't really see the reason because they've done testing, and the Anubias plant and other rhizome plants like it, they have found that this plant takes off in growth when you attach it to wood. When you allow these roots to grow into the spores of the wood, that's what it desires. So if you're going to attach it to a stone, that's completely fine using the same process, but in my personal opinion, I mean, the plant wants to be attached to wood, so give it what it wants. And as you guys know, Anubias plants are like the perfect plant for beginners or low light setups, just because they barely take any lighting or any demands. You know, a lot of the other plants, you got to plant in substrate, you got to give it root tabs, you got to give it liquid fertilizers. This stuff, the Anubias plant is literally like bulletproof. My last piece of advice before we go is to not forget that sometimes the driftwood does not sink. A lot of times what we have to do is pin it with a rock. Maybe you want to wrap some string around the rock with the driftwood, or I've also used this same super glue to literally like glue rocks to the driftwood or underneath it. It really sucks when you build all this stuff and you put the driftwood in there and it floats like this piece. You can see it right now. We're gonna have to grab a rock just to kind of like sink this down. What we might actually do is literally super glue a rock to it. You can see that's what we did on the bottom there. We didn't get footage of it, but it's really easy to do. Just literally just gob the super glue onto the piece of driftwood between the rock and the wood, however you want to get that driftwood to sink. Well guys, that about wraps it up. You gotta hit me up in the comment section. I want to know, are you gluing Anubias plants to things? Did you bring some home? Are you trying to like envision this process for a future project? You gotta hit me up in the comment section because I love hearing from you guys. That's why I do these videos, because I want more aquarium fish keeper friends. So please subscribe. If you like fish tanks, chances are we're gonna be best friends. So I guess until further ado, we are on to the next one.